First and foremost, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have hired former CIA agents with a proven track record of lying to the public.
Hollywood scandals are nothing new, but Blake Lively just took things to a whole new level of insanity, and Candace Owens just called her out for it. After hiring a regular PR firm to clean up her legal mess, she also brought in a literal ex-CIA agent, a man trained in controlling narratives, gaslighting the public, and covering up inconvenient truths.
A PR crisis manager with deep government ties. As her legal battle with Justin Baldoni escalates, she's quietly working with Nick Shapiro, the CIA's former deputy chief of staff.
Blake and Ryan Reynolds hiring a former CIA operative for PR isn't just unusual, it's downright suspicious. And we're not talking about some run-of-the-mill publicist. They've brought in Nick Shapiro, a man who is deputy chief of staff for the CIA and worked directly under John Brennan, a name that rings alarm bells for anybody who follows deep state politics.
High up, just about as high up as you could possibly get if he is the deputy chief of staff to John Brennan, who was the former.
Shapiro isn't the type of guy you call when you need a little reputation polish. His expertise is controlling public narratives, managing cover-ups, and spinning the truth to make inconvenient facts disappear. He spent his career ensuring the public only saw what the government wanted them to see. And now he's running interference for Blake? That's not PR, that's damage control at a whole new level.
Does a CIA agent have any experience to just launch a PR firm? Well, remember, a massive part of the CIA's job, really the most important part of a CIA's job, is managing public relations, because we, the people.
Blake's not just dealing with the lawsuit, she's handling it in the most dramatic way possible. She's in the middle of a legal battle with Justin Baldoni and others, but instead of fighting it out in court, she's using high-level intelligence tactics to protect herself. Candace Owens isn't buying the PR help excuse, and honestly, who would? What kind of celebrity needs a guy trained in spinning the truth at a national security level just to handle some bad press?
Who is a puppet? He is not a real leader in that region, and he has taken billions from American taxpayers.
The CIA has been playing puppet master with the media for decades, and anybody who thinks otherwise just hasn't been paying attention. Candace Owens is pointing out something incredibly real. The government has a long history of working with journalists to control public perception. This isn't some wild conspiracy theory, it's a documented fact.
We're looking at the entries for Operation Mockingbird. Like I said, you can look this up by yourself. This is not coming from Candace Owens. It's just.
Take Operation Mockingbird, for example. The CIA put journalists on its payroll to push propaganda and make sure the public believed whatever narrative they wanted. Newspapers like the New York Times, CNN, and other major outlets have all been used as tools to shape the way people think. So when a former CIA agent, somebody trained in manipulating mass perception, suddenly shows up as Blake Lively's crisis PR guy, it's not just strange, it's a gigantic red flag.
Suits. You will remember, I think it was last week, we covered this absurd subpoena that was filed by Blake Lively's team. They were asking for basically every text message and every phone call for every person that they are suing.
Nick Shapiro isn't just any former CIA agent. He's a guy with a proven track record of lying to the public. And not just any little lies, but one of the biggest political cover-ups in recent history. Yeah, we're not jumping into that. I think everybody knows what we're talking about here. Anyway, it really makes you wonder why on earth Blake Lively would hire somebody like him for a Hollywood lawsuit. PR firms are supposed to fix reputations, not spin deep state-style lies. If she needed a basic crisis manager, she could have gone with any high-powered publicist. Instead, she chose a government-trained manipulator, a guy who doesn't just handle bad press, but erases inconvenient truths.
Down their psychopathic request for 2.5 years worth of every message that Justin Baldoni and Justin Heath and the PR agents have ever sent to everybody, plus location data. We knew that.
Her legal team just got completely embarrassed in court, and honestly, they had it coming. They tried to pull one of the most insanely over-the-top legal moves ever, demanding every single text message, phone call, and even location data from Justin Baldoni and others, dating back 2.5 years. It didn't even matter if the messages had anything to do with her lawsuit, she just wanted everything.
Baldoni case. They just sort of take out, smear, and destroy the reputations of people that they don't like, or people perhaps that their clients don't like. But the question is, who do they do that on behalf of?
The problem? Her lawsuit states that the so-called smear campaign against her started in August of 2024. But for reasons known only to her, she thought that she could dig through people's private conversations from as far back as 2022. Well, the judge wasn't having it. He laughed it off and out of court, basically implying that her legal team doesn't even know how to put together a proper argument. Ari Emanuel let slip on a podcast that he had just fired Justin Baldoni from WME, Hollywood's most powerful talent agency, because he's ride or die for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Now, this is pretty huge because Blake and Ryan have been publicly denying that they had anything to do with Baldoni getting blacklisted. But here's one of the biggest power players in the industry basically admitting that's exactly what happened. He didn't even try to hide it, he was practically bragging about it.
EJ Dixon contacted us under the guise of an agreement, pretending that she was just interested in how my podcasts have gone viral on the Blake Lively situation.
The moment Candace Owens started exposing Blake Lively's PR nightmare, the media suspiciously came after her. Suddenly, The Cut and New York Magazine were knocking on her door, pretending to do a neutral piece on her podcast coverage, only for it to turn into a full-blown hit job. But here's where things get shady. The journalist behind it? EJ Dixon. And wow, does that woman have some seriously disturbing views.
She asked me these questions, and I gave her such concrete answers to debunk these lies in the media, and she chose not to publish it because her job was to smear me, not to clarify any of the smears that have been written about.
Well, Owens did some digging and found that Dixon had written bizarre articles in the past, including ones where she defended pedophiles, talked about understanding them, and even suggested that child sex robots could be a therapy tool for them. Yeah, seriously, this is the person trying to smear Candace Owens' reputation.
Financially, by what Blake Lively did with the rumors, and including with the New York Times, that he lost money and he lost opportunity.
Well, Candace tore the mask off this entire scandal, and at this point, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are making everything worse. What started as a messy lawsuit has now spiraled into a full-blown CIA-level cover-up, all because they thought they could silence the truth with a shady PR spin doctor. Instead of handling things like normal celebrities, they brought in a literal ex-CIA agent thinking he could make the bad press go away. But here's the thing, people aren't buying it. If anything, their desperate attempts to control the narrative have only drawn more attention to what they're trying to hide. The internet is wide awake on this one, and no amount of government-trained PR manipulation is going to stop people from asking questions.